Ever wondered how some people always seem to have money to make silly purchases, while people like you and me always rethink before buying anything useful? Well, in this video, I'll show you how to build that small fund, $3,000 to be precise, that you can always reach out to buy quick goodies. It's like a kiddie bank you had in your childhood that you know exists if your parents refuse to give you pocket money. Not with a $1,000 investment, not with a $500 investment, but with just $75 per week. If that piques your interest, watch this video till the end as I reveal what specific strategy to use to make this a reality. And most importantly, how long it will take to generate $3,000 per month in dividend income. We've got 3 different approaches to make this happen. Let's start with approach number 1, the dividend growth strategy. This is for those of you who can play the long game. We're talking about investing in companies that are like fine wine. They get better with age. Think of giants like Procter & Gamble, Microsoft, Apple, or Johnson & Johnson. These companies might not pay massive dividends right now, but they're consistently growing their payouts year after year. Let's look at a real-world example, DGRO, the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF. This fund is packed with over 400 dividend-growing companies. Famous investors like Ray Dalio, Peter Lynch, John Bogle, and David Swensen, among many others, have their money invested in this fund. Right now, it's yielding about 2.26%, which might not sound exciting. But here's where it gets interesting. DGRO has been increasing its dividend by an average of 10.76% each year. So, if you started with $1,000 and invested $75 every week into DGRO, how long would it take to hit that $3,000 monthly dividend goal? Based on historical performance, we're looking at about 25 years. So if you're 30 years old right now, by the time you receive $3,000 in monthly dividends, you'd be 55. I know you didn't want to hear that, but remember 2 things. First, we're only talking about $75 a week here. That's less than what many people spend on dining out or entertainment. If you can bump that up to $100 or $150 a week, you'll get there even faster. How fast, you ask? Well, wait till I reveal the third approach. Secondly, here we're not trying to get rich with such a small investment. We're trying to build a small fund that can help us with cheap purchases in the future which we otherwise would not spend our money on. Here's the kicker. It would take about 20 years to reach $1,000 in monthly dividends, but only 5 more years to triple that to $3,000. That's the snowball effect in action. With the power of compounding, your money starts working harder for you as time goes on. Now, let's talk about approach number 2, the high-yield strategy. This is for those of you who want to see more cash flowing in right from the start. We're talking about high-yield dividend stocks and ETFs. A prime example is JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. As of now, it's sporting a mouth-watering yield of 8.21% as compared to DGRO's 2.26%. If you started with $1,000 at the beginning of this year and invested $75 every week into it, you'd have already gained around $152 by September. Sounds great, right? Decent money in your pocket from year 1. But here's the catch. With this approach, it would take about 28 years to reach that $3,000 per month mark. Why? Because high yield often comes with a trade-off. Companies paying high dividends are usually mature businesses in slow-growth industries. They're paying out more of their profits as dividends, which means less money to reinvest in the business. Less reinvestment often leads to slower growth. It's like choosing between a big slice of pizza now or an entire pizza later. You get more upfront, but you might miss out on bigger gains down the road. Plus, super high yields can sometimes be a red flag. It might mean the market expects the dividend to be cut in the future. So while you're getting paid now, you're potentially sacrificing some long-term growth and stability. Finally, let's look at approach number 3, the balance strategy. This is what I like to call the Goldilocks approach. Not too aggressive, not too conservative, but just right. It's about finding that sweet spot between current income and future growth. A good example of this strategy would be creating a portfolio with a mix of dividend growth stocks and some higher-yielding options. Let's say you manage to build a portfolio with an average yield of about 4.3% and a dividend growth rate of 7.5%. With this balanced approach, you could potentially hit that $3,000 per month in about 23 years. I know you want to leave this video looking at that number, but if you can bump your weekly investment to $100 or $150, you'll get there even faster. With a $100 weekly investment, you're looking at about 20 years. Can you manage $150 a week? It could get you there in just 17 years. So by the time you're 47 years old, you'd have a small private money-making machine that's generating $36,000 a year. It works while you sleep, while you're out partying, and in uncertain times like a job loss. Imagine what that could do for your retirement, or maybe even an early retirement. If you're interested in finding out which stocks offer a 4.3% dividend yield and a 7% growth rate, watch my other videos on monthly dividend stocks. That said, here's the real secret to making any of these approaches work. Consistency. It's not about timing the market or making a killing overnight. It's about steadily investing, week after week, year after year. It's about reinvesting those dividends to buy more shares, which then pay more dividends. It's a snowball effect that starts slow but becomes unstoppable over time. Hope you like this video. If you disagree with anything we discussed, do comment below. I'm open to your opinions as long as it's a dignified conversation. See you in the next one.